Welcome back to Mac Talks. Football and the league in France is currently on a winter break. We have reached the half part of the season, and as the teams are resting and enjoying their festive year, we are gonna grade them, and we're gonna see how they performed in the first half of the season. I'm gonna grade them on the basis of not just the Liga, but on the basis of the other competitions that they played in as well, and the overall how the club was run and everything that includes the transfer fees and everything. The first half of the season, the first 6 months, how the club went in. So, and we are gonna go alphabetically. So let's start. The first club, Onjor, they came into the Liga after a 1 year absence. They got relegated previous year and they came straight back up. It was supposed to be, this year was supposed to be where they make sure that they stay in a Liga for a lot longer than they have previously. But the start of the season was quite horrendous, getting remaining winless in the first 8 games. But they've slowly turned their season around. They won 3 of their last 7 games. They are out of the relegation zone as well. And if you look at the way that they are playing, like they are much better defensively as compared to the other teams in that relegation zone. So they look a much better side as compared to the other ones. They won their round of 16 64 game in the Coupe de France as well, so they have qualified for the next round in the competition as well. And on an overall, if you look at the club that they are doing, I think they are doing a quite good with the resources that they have. Their transfers were quite shrewd in the summer as well, and if they continue along this line, I think they might end up being safe from relegation. With what I have seen from this for the first 15 games of the league and the first half of the season, I'm going to give them a C grade. Up next is the second team who got promoted, Auxerre. They started the season with a win, but then they lost 3 of their next 4 games and dropped down to relegation zone. But the recovery from Auxerre have been brilliant. Like, they are currently 8th, 7th in the table, and they're just like 8th in the table, sorry, and they're just 3 points shy of that Conference League spot. They are basically fighting for European competition. That is a huge achievement for them, let's be honest. And if they had not drawn their last 2 games, they might have been in the European places come the Christmas period. So they have made an amazing recovery. They are having an amazing season. They have not done that good in the cup competition. They got eliminated, but I think the main concentration is towards the the European competition, because they really think that they can somehow qualify for Europe. Their transfers were very good in the summer as well. With the money that they had, they did not have that much to spend, but the players that they have brought in, almost every one of them have stepped up and performed from attack to defense. So I think they are doing very well, and I will not be surprised if they do end up going to Europe. And with the way that they have run, I think they have been very good, and I'm giving them a B grade. Then we move on to West, who, if I'm being very honest, have been quite disappointing and inconsistent this season. They have lost 8 games already, and out of the 15 that they have played, they are 11th currently in the table, but they are just a point away from the team from the 16th place Saint Etienne. So they know, like, they are basically not safe. They are in that relegation battle because it's so tight at the bottom. But if you look at the other competition, they have been amazing in the Champions League. It was their first ever appearance, and they're 7th in the league phase. And if they win just one more game, they might qualify for the round of 16 directly. But for the round of 32, they have already secured their spot. They are going to be in the next round, that's for sure. It just matter. We're just going to see which round they end up in. And if they have won their Copa de France game as well, they're in the round of 32 as well. So the competition, they have really been good. I think they have the league problem. The league position is basically because they have to play so many games, being in the Champions League as well. So I think that has affected their performance, and that is why I'm not giving them a lower grade. Otherwise, I would have given them a much lower grade, but I'm giving them a C grade. Up next, it's Ligue, and they are all over the place. If I'm being very honest with you, they are the only team who have not drawn a single game until now, but they have lost 11 of the 15 games that they have played. So I don't think the not drawing the games matter that much. They are not in any cup competitions as well, so like they have been eliminated from them as well. So at the moment, everything is looking gloom and gloom for Ligue, and the only thing that has helped me not put them given in the F grade is the way that they are playing football. That is the only thing. Like, they play really good football and very exciting football. There are always goals. Like, you can expect a good game of football whenever Ligue are playing, whether they win or lose, it doesn't matter. That is why I'm not giving them a F grade, but I've gone for a D. Then it's Lens. They started the season with an 8-match unbeaten run, but the problem was that 5 of those games were draws. So they basically had 3 wins. They have managed to win 3 more games in the next 7 games, and currently they are seventh in the table, tied with points with Nice, who are on sixth based on goal difference. So their main goal is somehow to qualify for the European competitions. It doesn't really matter to them whichever, but they want to be in Europe. They are out of the Copa de France as well. They are out of the Conference League as well at the first round, and they got eliminated quite early on in the playoffs already. So they would hope that they can somehow do better this time around, and maybe try to qualify for the Europa League. But as of now, they are really fighting for those European places. And I think the league performances have been much better than the cup competition, and that is why I've gone for a C+. Moving on, it's Lille. They had quite a rocky start to the season, if I'm being very honest with you, but they are now undefeated in their last 11 games. They are basically out of the title race in my opinion, but they are currently fourth, and they are leading the pack in that the fight for that Champions League spot. And with the way that they are playing, I think they are favorites. They are probably gonna qualify for that round of 16 in the Champions League as well, directly, with the way that they have played in the UCI, and they have moved into the round of 32 of Copa de France as well. So they are having quite a good season, and with Jonathan and David being a high goal scorer and the form that he is, I think they would fancy some sort of silverware for sure this season, and that is why I've gone for a B+ for Lille. Moving on, it is a Lyon, and they did not have a good start to the season, losing 3 of their 5 games. But since then, they have gone on a 9-game unbeaten run, winning 6 out of those games, and they are currently 5th in the table, just 2 points behind 4th place Lille, and they are fighting for that, for that Champions League spot with Lille. They have qualified for, they are 4th in the table in the Europa League table as well. So they are doing in the really good in the competition, European competition as well. Plus they have qualified for the round of 32 in the Copa de France as well. So they themselves are really having a good season, and their main aim would be, to somehow get back into the Champions League, whether it's through the league phase or try to win the Europa League. As I said, they are having a good season, so I'm going to give them a B grade. Moving on, it is Marseille. I mean, they are having an amazing season. They have just lost 3 times this season. They are currently 2nd in the table, fighting for their title. They are the 2nd highest goal scorers of the league, behind, of course, PSG. They have reached the round of 32 of Copa de France as well. And they are basically, and in my opinion, playing the best football in the league. Roberto De Zerbi has come in, and he has basically transformed Marseille into a very a good run team. And I think they are, in my opinion, they are the best football playing side in the country, and that is why I'm going for A- for Marseille. From Marseille to another title challenger, Monaco. Like, they had an amazing start to the season, going unbeaten in the first 8, but that seemed to have it feels like a long time ago, because their next 8 games have been horrendous, losing 4 out of those 8 games, and that has really affected their title charge, if I'm being very honest with you. They are in my opinion, they are going to qualify for the round of 32 in the Champions League as well. They have qualified for the round of 32 in Copa de France as well. So overall, they are having a good season, but I think that their title charge is looking a bit tough now, because they've lost to PSG as well in their last game as well. So like, losing to your main title challenger is not really good. So that is why I think that defeat has pushed their grade a bit down. Otherwise, I would have given them a A grade, but I'm going for an A- for Monaco. Moving on, it's Montpellier, and they are having a dreadful season. Just 2 wins out of a possible 15. They are right at the bottom of the table, and everything is not going wrong for them. The football that they are playing is quite shocking, if I'm being very honest with you. They sacked their manager Michel Zakharinian after 8 games, and they replaced him with Jean-Louis Gosset. But unfortunately for him, fortunes have not really changed for them. He has just 1 win in their last 7 games as well. And as I said, they are currently right at the bottom of the table. They lost their Copa de France game as well against a 4th-tier side, and that to 4-0 in a humiliating way for Montpellier. Nobody would have thought that was going to happen. It was such a dreadful performance in that game as well. And to be very honest, I just don't see a way back for Montpellier. Unfortunately, I think they are going to get relegated. I think it is becoming quite obvious, especially with that performance in that Coupe de France game. If you are losing 4-0 to a 4th-tier side, that is not a good look, and that is why I'm going to give them an F grade. Moving on, it is Nantes. I mean, Nantes started the season really good, winning the first two games, but then they went on a 10-game winless run that included 6 defeats, and that has basically derailed their season. They are currently 15th in the table, 14th in the table, just a point above 16th place Saint Etienne, and 2 points above 17th place Lièvre. So they are right in the thick of it. They know themselves that they are in the relegation zone. The only silver lining currently for them is that they have qualified for the round of 32 of Copa de France, but the way that they are playing, I don't think they are gonna make any strides in that competition as well. I just think they are gonna get eliminated in the next round. They have been dreadful. They cannot they cannot seem to defend for their lives. I think they are one of the poorest defense in the league, and I think if they are not if they don't fix that in the January transfer window or during a break, I think they could be one of the teams that seriously get relegated. That is why I'm giving them a D minus. Then it's Nice. They have been quite on and off this season. They lost 2 out of their first 4 games, but then they went on an 8-game unbeaten run, in which they won their 4 games as well. They are currently 6th in the table, occupying that Europa, the Conference League playoff space, but they are tied with points with Lens. They are just in the 6th position because only based off a goal difference, and they would hope that they can continue staying in those European places because they really want to play in Europe this year though. But their European run has not been really good. They are 32nd in the Europa League table. They have not they are almost already eliminated. It has been a dreadful campaign for them, and it has been a disaster. They have not won once in Europe this year, so that is quite a shocking turn of events for them. In domestic competition, they are in the round of 32 of Copa de France, so that is a good thing for them. But I think their main aim this year would be to somehow get into those Champions League places or make sure that they finish in the European places, because they really cannot afford a year with not being in Europe. And with everything that has gone, I'm going for a C grade for Nice. Then it's the champions PSG. They have not been at the top of the table, just 2 game days. Apart from them, they are the top team of the league. They are still undefeated in the league. They are playing amazing football, the highest goal scorers, and they have defeated both their title challengers Marseille and Monaco with quite ease. So they are looking spectacular in the league. But the problem for PSG is the Champions League. I mean, they have been dreadful in the Champions League this season, having just won 2 of their 6 games played till now, and there's a big chance that they might get eliminated in the first round of the Champions League, because they are 25th in the table, and with the way that the games are going and the other teams have to play, you would fancy a lot of the other teams above them to win their games, and there is a big possibility that PSG might lose their games and get eliminated. I think there's a big chance, 60 to 70% chance, that PSG might be eliminated in league phase, and that is why their grade has dropped. Otherwise, I think it would have been a perfect grade for them, but just because of their Champions League performance, I have pushed their grade down. I'm not going to give them an A+. I have gone for an A for PSG. Next up is Rams. I mean, Rams have been the most inconsistent team of Liga this season. After 15 games, they have won 5, lost 5, and drawn 5. So you don't really know which Rams is gonna turn up. They have a couple of good weekends where they play fantastic football. Then they go ahead and be absolutely disastrous, and they lose 2 games quite easily. They are currently 10th in the table, and they're just 4 points off 6th place Nice. So they are their ambition is basically to try to somehow get into those European places. They are still fighting for that. 4 points off of the 6th place and Nice is not a big deal for them, and there is like a hope that they can go ahead and finish that gap down and be in the European places. They don't have any European competition this season, but speaking of the domestic cups, they are in the round of 32 as well of Copa de France, so they are having a good season, and that is why I've gone for a C+ grade for Rams. Then it's Rennes, and I mean, they have been quite dreadful this season. I mean, they have one of the most shocking performances of the season has come from Rennes, because they have underperformed massively in my opinion. They have sacked Julian Stephen. They sacked Julian Stephen early November after he won like just 2 games in the after their first 10 games, and they replaced him with George Sampoli. He has had a good start. There's sort of a turnaround at Rennes. He has won 3 of their first 6 games, including the round of 64 cup game in the Copa de France as well. So it looks like they are heading in the right direction under Sampoli, and I think that is why I've not given them that much of a bad grade. But still, like, their start of the season has not been really good, so that is why I'm giving them a D grade. Then is the third side that came in the Liga this year, Saint Etienne, and their return to the Liga has not been, not been that good. If I'm being very honest with you, they have won just 4 out of their possible 15 games, losing 10 of that, and they are really, really struggling at the moment. They have sacked their manager Olivier Diagaglo. I mean, they conceded the most goals in the league this season till now. Their defense is nowhere to be seen. They look like so easy to score against, and and they have lost their round of 64 Copa de France game as well. So you sort of expected that was going to happen, and they have, as I said, they have sacked their manager, but they have appointed Eric Homeland, who's gonna take charge after the new year. I think this is a good thing that they have done it during the break, so at least he has time to assess his squad and he knows which player he wants to start with, other instead of sacking him after the winter break and then creating a problem for the manager and the players. He now has about at least 2 weeks to sort of prepare himself, but the performances have already been so bad that you cannot really change the grade. I am going for a D grade for Saint Etienne. Then it's a Strasbourg, and I mean, I don't really know what to say about Strasbourg. I mean, they have been the most boring team of a League One this season. I mean, it just feels like they are just there for the sake of it. They are not playing good football. They are not doing anything adventurous in the games as well. It feels like they don't really care where they finish. And it is they are all over the place, if I'm being very honest with you. They have won their game in the Copa de France round of 64, so they are in the round of 32. They are 13 in the table, but they are just 4 points away from safety, and with the way that they are playing, I would not be surprised if they end up getting relegated, because it feels like the players, the managers, the ownership, they don't really care. But because of everybody else and where they are, I'm gonna give them a D grade. And finally, we're going to talk about Toulouse. They had a really bad start to the season, if I'm being very honest with you, but they have had a remarkable turnaround, winning 5 of their last 8 games, and that has brought them right back into the contention for those European places. That that a fight for those European places is really, really tight in Liga, and Toulouse are right up there for it. Their cup competition run was ended quite early. They lost in the round of 64 in Copa de France, but it's their league form that is the main talking point for Toulouse fans, because they really expect their team to somehow qualify for Europe, and that is why I am going to give them a B- grade. And that is it. These are my grades for all the teams in the Liga up until till now. In my opinion, I've tried to be as fair as possible. I think I only gave Montpellier the F grade. Apart from that, I have not given anybody else the F grade. I kept them at D-, D plus, something like that. But I don't think Montpellier are going to survive. That is why I've given them an F grade. If you are going to get relegated, I think you deserve an F grade. And I think they are going to get relegated. They have been horrendous this season. Apart from that, I think there are chances that other teams might somehow, there's a chances for other teams to get out of that relegation zone. But in my opinion, Montpellier don't have a chance, and they have been the worst team this season till now. So yeah, these are my grades. Let me know what you guys think of my grades, or do you agree with it? And if you don't, which grade would you give these teams? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well. Click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the end of this year, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.